Welcome to the new series of Eon Talks. In this series, we're going to be talking all about augmented reality and talking about exactly what this technology is and its applications in the modern world of business. But for our first episode, we figured we should probably kick things off by really diving into exactly what augmented reality is. And to help us do that for today's episode, I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague and the head of Eon Visual Media, James Cherry. James, welcome to the show.
Hi Pete, thank you.
So as I just mentioned there in our little intro, there's a lot of people out there who probably have heard the term augmented reality before, but might still be a little unsure as to exactly what the term augmented reality actually means. So James, for our first question, I was wondering if you could elaborate further on the term augmented reality and give an overview as to what this technology is and how it works.
Just to sort of tell you what augmented reality is as a definition, I looked up the word augmented in the dictionary, and that's where I sort of stick to when I'm trying to explain what augmented reality is. It's what helps me understand what it is. But to augment is to make something greater by adding to it. So effectively, augmenting reality, we're making reality greater by adding something to it. So usually augmented reality applications, you'll see the real world and we'll be overlaying some digital content on top of that, and that's augmented reality.
Oh, excellent. And as well as augmented reality, I suppose another key buzzword that you usually hear these days, which is often linked to augmented reality, is virtual reality. So I was wondering if you could also explain what virtual reality is, but also what the key differences are between virtual and augmented reality.
Yeah, so virtual reality tends to be a completely closed experience, really immersed into that experience. So augmented reality, going back to what I just said about the definition, is it tends to be a mixture of real world stuff and digital content. So let's say you're augmenting the real world with digital content, whereas virtual reality, you'll have a dedicated headset, you'll be completely enclosed, you won't have any visuals of the real world, and it'll be a completely new experience, a new environment that you're in.
I did some research before conducting this interview today, and it looks like augmented reality, the term has been coined and used way back since the 1960s at least. So I was wondering, from Eon Visual Media's perspective, how has this technology developed and changed in the time that you guys have been utilising it?
I'm glad you asked me in the time that since we've been utilising it, because I'm not entirely sure on the history dating back to the 60s, but yeah, we really started looking at it probably around 2015, 2016. So sort of Google Glass first edition, when that started coming out, we were exploring it quite heavily. There was also the announcement about HoloLens developer kits, so we were exploring those. From Eon's perspective, we really started to delve a lot deeper, sort of 2017, 18, when Apple and Android released their development kits for AR Core and AR Kit, respectively. I think another key milestone in recent history of augmented reality is something called Project Tango, which again was 2016, 2017, but essentially it was a partnership with Google and Lenovo. So Lenovo being a phone manufacturer and Google being the big player that they are, they partnered to create the first smartphone that was dedicated for giving augmented reality experiences. So it was Project Tango. I think it was called the Lenovo Fab phone or something along those lines. But yeah, essentially it was the first phone dedicated which had two cameras on the back. So people will have started to see that most smartphones now have got 2, 3, sometimes even 4. I think I've seen some with more cameras on the back. This is primarily to get a better detection of depth, better understanding of the depth of our environment. So cameras traditionally, one camera is traditionally 2D. We take a 2D flat photograph, there's no depth information. But combining two cameras with different focal lengths can really help us determine the depth and check out surfaces and walls within our environment. And that's been really key to delivering augmented reality these days, because most augmented reality experiences that we experience today are through our smartphones.
That's right.
And that's been harnessed through multiple cameras, and Project Tango was the first one, so I think that's a key milestone.
That's it, and it's every year that smartphone brands are bringing out newer models with improved cameras and better spec processing speeds, things like that. So I imagine as the years go on, this technology is only going to get better and better and better. So I've definitely noticed that over the past couple of years or so, augmented reality is now being more commonly used and adapted by a lot of businesses, and particularly from a user's perspective via their smartphone devices. So I was wondering if you could give us a couple of examples as to some of the ways in which smartphone users are currently using augmented reality.
Yeah, good question. We've come a long way with AR, and a lot of it's harnessed through our smartphones, and a couple of big examples that have really helped make AR a bit more mainstream. One is Pokemon Go. I think that's,
of course, yes,
probably the big one. So yeah, it was heavily featured in the news. Lots of kids going out and collecting Pokemon characters that were essentially augmented in different locations around the world. It was quite good that it actually encouraged people to go out at that time. I thought it was quite a good use case of the technology, but yeah, that was really big. It made the news quite a lot, so that was really helpful for AR in terms of spreading the word about AR. IKEA was another big one, so
right.
You've probably seen or maybe even used, but a lot of people are trying out furniture before they buy it now. So IKEA were one of the first to the market with their AR app, which essentially allows you to scan the environment that you're in, pick up the floors and surfaces, and you can augment any of their furniture into that room and essentially see what it looks like before you go to the shop or before you spend any money. And the other big one is Snapchat. So Snapchat face filters. I think a lot of Snapchat users don't even realise that they're using augmented reality, but yeah, all of those face filters that you see, the bunny ears, that's augmented reality.
That's amazing. Yeah, and it's funny because I actually had a message from one of my friends recently, and he was showing off that a bottle of wine that he'd purchased recently. I think the brand was 19 Crimes. Again, they've adapted augmented reality, so you scan their packaging and it actually comes to life there on your phone. And I think the idea there is that it gives like a brief history and an overview as to the history of the brand or of the person on the label. So yeah, I think augmented reality as an innovation, as a technology, is becoming a lot more widely available and accessible to the public via their smartphones.
Yeah, exactly. And I think 19 Crimes is a great example. I think connected packaging or augmented reality on connected pack is going to be a huge use case of AR. I think we'll talk about some use cases in a bit more detail probably, but connected packaging is a big one and one that we're very closely looking at. But yeah, 19 Crimes is a great example, I think.
Brilliant. And again, I think Eon Visual Media themselves have actually been using augmented reality more recently as well. So I believe you guys used augmented reality to develop a Easter egg hunt just earlier this year.
Yeah, we did. We did a marketing campaign for Easter where we were encouraging people to augment an Easter egg, an Eon branded Easter egg in the world around them, be it somewhere comical, somewhere camouflage, so we encouraged people to hide it. But yeah, it was a cool campaign. What we were really trying to do is promote a new way of delivering AR, so without the need to download an app. So it would be a bit much probably to expect our audience to download an app in order to augment this egg. So using, it's not web AR, but operating system AR to allow people to experience some AR without having to download an app.
Amazing. Well, James, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been brilliant having you on as a guest. And for those who are looking to find out more information about augmented reality, make sure you check out the Eon Visual Media website, and also make sure you check out and subscribe to the Eon Visual Media social media channels. But until next time, I've been Pete.
I've been James.
And this has been Eon Talks. See you next time.